Alright, so I've been learning Japanese for about 18 months at this point, and I've made videos for my 6 month progress and my 1 year progress. So in this video, I'm just gonna talk about my last 6 months because the last video got kind of long. Anyways, so I'll still give a small introduction of what I've done, or actually how I got into this. So pretty much what happened was I came across a post on the R Learn Japanese subreddit. I can't actually remember what the post was, but there was some comment in there saying like, keep in mind that 600 hours in a year is less than 2 hours a day. This made me super motivated for whatever reason, and I ended up making a spreadsheet to track my progress, or like I timed my study sessions. I stopped doing that like a couple months ago, but I just use the Anki times now. But yeah, starting out, 2 hours all the way to almost 950 hours now. But anyways, I made that spreadsheet just to keep me motivated. Like you see this number going up, and it's like, wow, that's so cool. You, you know, and up here, I kind of just stopped paying attention. I used to put these little notes every 50 hours, and I forgot at 900, and I'm probably not gonna do it for 950. Anyways, that was kind of motivating. And there's also a journal, but it's a journal. I don't really want to be in public, so I won't show it. Anyways, like about 8 months, I decided to start doing AJATT. I knew about AJATT, like I knew of the concept. I knew like about 10,000 sentences you're fluent or whatever, but I didn't really understand like the listening to Japanese 24/7, etc., etc. Till I came across this video, Matt versus Japan, where he just talks about how he went through AJATT or whatever in his experience. Anyways, I saw that video. It was about 8 days in to learn Japanese, and boom, uh, I started doing it. Anyways, I'm gonna skip months 0 to 12 just because I have two previous videos that kind of talk about it, and just skip straight to what changed. So, way before the, I don't know about way before, but pretty much before the 12th month, I pretty much never watched YouTube. I mean, I would sometimes do it, but it wasn't my main version at all. Like, there's a guy called Inoue, this guy. He like makes random videos talking about America and Japan. He's a Japanese American dude, or fully Japanese. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes watch him, but I wouldn't really watch anything else other than that. But I switched to start. I started watching these things called GQ. Uh, and yes, my accent's really bad still. Sorry. I I I started watching these a lot, and my what is it? Understanding like actual spoken Japanese, not like anime Japanese or whatever, like got way better, way better. This was definitely worth doing, but I feel like 6 months might have been too long, just like constantly watching this stuff. I don't know. But that's pretty much what my main version turned into. I did do reading. It's just I I've always put more emphasis on listening, like pretty much ever since the I was 6 months into this, just because reading got better on its own, just naturally. I don't really know how to explain it. Uh, but yeah, that changed. I did subtitles almost 100%. Uh, I put this note if I even have them, very rarely I'll turn them on to double check something or manually make a sentence card. I don't really do this manually making sentence cards thing anymore. At least when watching anime, just because I don't even bother to download the subs in time. It takes too much time. It's annoying. Uh, but my listening got way better. Like there's a huge difference between having Japanese subtitles on and not having them on. And if you're learning Japanese yourself and you're using Japanese subtitles a lot, you should try watching stuff without them. Not to like, I'm not saying it's because it's better or whatever. I'm just saying like you'll realize really quickly that how different it is and how much you're actually going to start missing. But I did that, and my listening's gotten a lot better. I'll talk about that in a second. So something else I started doing was I started listening to the news when going to bed too, because I usually always watch Pokemon. I don't know, I'm like 600 episodes in or whatever since the first one. But I started switching to the news just because that's more relevant, I guess. Uh, but I still watch Pokemon sometimes because you don't really want to be lying in bed trying to think, like focusing really hard on listening to something. Pokemon, you can just have it on. You don't have to think. You just kind of know what's going on. Uh, and then something that happened after that. And this was like four months in, I guess, so around month 15 or 16. I went through this weird period where I just thought Anki was unnecessary. I thought I was getting to the point where it's just better if I go through immersion or whatever. Sorry about that. I just started feeling like I was learning words through immersion more often, and that Anki wasn't really necessary. I regretted this. That went on for about almost an entire month, honestly. I could look here, could kind of see like 6627, 6472. It looks like this was April. I really did not add that many cards, but I got over that and started adding them again. Don't know why I didn't add any cards this past week, but um, yeah, I regret it a little just because like you think about all that time spent. Like I could have known like 400 more words now. Like I would have been aware of their existence at least. Uh, so it's kind of like but whatever. Just keep on going, and I'm trying to go back to 25 a day now. I have a deck right here with 25 ready for today. Uh, so something really big, in my opinion, for me, was that I stopped timing Anki sessions. Like, I used to do this thing when I first started out, and this went on for like a year and 3 months, I guess, where I would, if I was gonna do this, I would set up my phone, I would go to the timer app, set it up, and then like try to time it exactly at the same time. And sorry for that cut. Uh, anyways, what I would do is like I'd set up my phone and I'd try to time it exactly, real time, everything. So if I was reading this sentence and like going through, okay, and then like I stop my timer, go here, and start it again. It was very annoying, and like every time I wanted to do a sentence, I couldn't just like go in, do like a couple sentences and minimize Anki or anything like that. I'd always have to do them all in one go, or else I just get too lazy to actually go and you know set up my timer again. It's very annoying. Anyways, that was a really big thing for me. And I guess this is big. I wouldn't consider it big. I still have my kanji deck. Where is it? In here or something like that. When was that? March 14th? What did I study here? Like, it's just, what's the point? I see these kanji words. I'm not writing them out or anything like that, so I just felt like it was really pointless. It's not like their readings were actually on there all the time. And there's a lot of kanji, like especially the less common ones where you don't really know how to read them on their own, but if you saw them in a word, you know how to read them. Like you saw them in the word that they're usually used in, then you know how to read them. So yeah, I just gave up on that. It's not, it's whatever. Because I mean, I'm still seeing them in here. Doesn't matter. Anyways, so I guess I'll just talk about my improvements now of what changed. Sorry about that. Uh, so this is the biggest thing, I guess. Although it's weird to think that around the 12th month that I had trouble understanding this stuff, but I guess I did. But stuff like Death Note, Psychopaths, these anime like this, if you've watched them yourself, you know, like they kind of go more specific. They're not slice of life. Psychopaths, honestly, I felt kind of weird putting this just because there's a couple characters in there. Couple, I guess. I don't know. There's one. Yeah, there's scenes in there that are like, huh, what? I like I had to actually go through turn on subtitles and try to figure that stuff out. Or I used a sentence bank to do it, but whatever. But anyways, like these are pretty much understandable now. Death Note was surprising to me, I guess. Be like it didn't really take that long to get used to it. I don't know why. I thought it would. Uh, so improvements, I guess I can understand most stuff reading at this point, aside from stuff with field specific vocab. The biggest like differences in reading are like if it's a topic I'm really familiar with or just something I've read about before. Usually, I could just read it pretty much at the same pace as would in English. Or if something's written in a way that like how people actually talk, then it's really easy to read. But if it starts getting really I don't know how to say the word, but you know what I'm trying to say. I hope. uh, when it starts getting really bookly, people that stuff that people actually wouldn't say. I have to actually think about what they're even trying to say sometimes. I guess that's the biggest difference. Of course, there's words I don't know, especially the field specific vocab would be the biggest thing. But it's the content. Like the content's not difficult to understand anymore. So Twitch streams, YouTube videos, these are really followable now. I guess at the 12-year mark, I wasn't really watching much YouTube videos, but I was watching Twitch streams pretty often. So that's kind of different. But you got these are they're like easy to me now. And like the things that are difficult in in this type of media is like inside jokes. Inside jokes are sometimes really hard to get if you can't like just kind of guess what they mean. Like you got to go to Nico Nico or whatever, their Wikipedia page or not Wikipedia, encyclopedia page, to look up a phrase or something. And sometimes it's like a quote from some random manga that apparently every Japanese person that uses the internet has read and knows. But like, if you're not familiar with it, you're like, what is this guy trying to say? But yeah, there's also like specific game vocab like uh, Akakeshi and Mario Kart. It's like getting rid of a red shell, or like Shafudo. Here, I even have a
どう
video
でしょう
example.
か。シャフド。
Like from context, I could tell that the guy was talking about the girl picture, but Shafudo I didn't really know what that was. But apparently, it's uh like this angle of head that's used in like Shaft anime or whatever. I didn't know that, but I looked it up and now I know. And then references to characters, especially like children's TV shows. I don't know anything about Doraemon. Like I know the characters' names now, just because like I just looked them up so much at this point that I know them. I haven't even really watched the Doraemon. Like seriously, I've had it on before, just to like keep audio on in the background, but yeah, wasn't really ever paying attention to it. References to places. This mostly shows up in the news. This isn't really YouTube videos thing or anything. Like I don't know specific city names. Very, very few. I know the prefectures at least. That's important, I guess. And then there's just like random conversations, but where they talk about snacks. People would talk about snacks that they would eat in middle school or whatever. Just these really like random things like that. I'm just not Japanese, so I can't relate or really follow too well because I don't know the names of snacks and stuff. Like I could say Hershey Kiss in America, and everyone knows what a Hershey Kiss is, but I don't know if a Japanese person would know what a Hershey Kiss is. Uh, so I guess next thing I could talk about is got a lot better at inferring meaning through context. So instead of using would this even be in?
ドラ、
No. So instead of using
赤、
Yomi-chan for everything, I kind of like was I don't know I really like I don't know about forcing myself, but I really tried not to use Yomi-chan that much these past 6 months. When reading, uh, and focus on context instead, you can actually get the meaning of words really like you can figure out what a word means and pretty much guess what the Japanese dictionary is going to be saying for the word just from context. I think this is a really important skill to get good at. Although I think you just get good at it naturally. You don't really have to try. And I guess the biggest improvement. Well, the thing, one of the things I'm most proud of would be the news. I can't, I can't understand segments revolving around politics or economics. So if uh, like if the people in the cabinet or whatever are like talking about something or I don't know. I can't really talk about much about it because I don't really understand it that well myself unless I'm reading about it. But just listening to the audio, it's not really blurry. It's just I can't follow what they're saying at all. And like it's not like I don't know the words either because I've seen them so much reading at this point. It's just the information doesn't come to my head fast enough. But the typical like murder or whatever, those types of segments, those are really easy to understand or just I can even understand the weather segments like when they're talking about the weather. I, I'm really happy about that because that stuff used to be like complete gibberish to me, even when I thought I was understanding a lot. So I added this section called concerns. So 18 months into Japanese, like, what am I still worried about? Like, not being able to do? I still don't recognize when Keigo is being used. This is like the honorific, I guess. Honorific? Would that be the word to use? It's like the uh, respectful way of talking. So if you know a little bit about Japanese, then you might know about Masu and this. It's basically when those are used. I don't really actually recognize when those are being used. Uh, like I don't know why, because there's definitely a different feeling that comes out when they're being used. But unless I'm not really paying attention, then I just don't even really recognize it. Because I'll be watching YouTube videos sometimes, and the guy recording the video where he'd be like suddenly Keigo or suddenly Tamaguchi or whatever. Tamaguchi's like Don, whatever, not Keigo. And it's like, oh yeah, I guess it did switch. I didn't recognize that. I want to be able to naturally just realize when they're being used and not have to think about it or focus on it. Another concern is like I always feel if I could be spending my time better if I'm immersing in something easy. And by easy, I mean video games are a big one. I like I really want to like go through and play through the Dragon Quest series just because a lot of the YouTubers I watch they're all like super knowledgeable about Dragon Quest, but I want to play it myself and then I'm actually playing. It's like I'm not learning any Japanese here. I'm just playing a game, and it happens to be in Japanese. Uh, but yeah, I always like I that mind's that thing's always in my mind, and I kind of wish it wasn't there because I feel like stuff would be a lot easier. Now I have to worry about it so much. Another concern, my pronunciation is still just awful. I think this is because I I don't really practice speaking or anything like that, but like I'll read stuff out loud to myself, pretty much. Sounds weird, but I'm so used to it at this point, and I've probably developed so many bad habits doing this. Uh, and this is even ignoring pitch accent. I've I've paid some attention to pitch accent at this point. I really wanted to get into it these past 6 months, but didn't feel worth it, I guess. But I can hear pitch accent a lot better than I used to be able to. Like almost any time I look up a word, like Yomi-chan,
敬語
like you can set it up to play the audio when hovering over a word. Like I won't pay attention to this right here. I'll just kind of listen to it and then I'll like guess the number, not really guess, but like say the number. Look, it's like oh yeah, it was zero. And, like I knew that. Like I got really good at being able to do that, but I don't really pay much attention to it other than that. It's just kind of like if I know the pitch accent, then woo. If I don't, then whatever. But yeah, should probably start. I don't know about now. Maybe at the 2 year mark, I'll actually start getting really hard on fixing my pronunciation. And last concern, I guess, unfamiliar names. I don't really know how to explain it. Pretty much, if it's not a name, and this could be a place, a person, or whatever. If it's not a name, I know. It's not a name I know. I can't hear it correctly at all. It still sounds gibberish. Not really gibberish, but it's like I can't pinpoint the exact sounds of like every syllable or whatever. Or what are they called? Mora? Uh, mo- I actually don't know what they're called. Pretty much like the each kana. Like I can't pinpoint them unless I hear the word a few times after that, and then like especially if someone says it really clearly, like a newscaster, then yes, I can understand it. But they still sound blurry, and this is so true for foreign names. I can't. Foreign names feel like this weird wall that I'm never gonna get over. Like I always have to look up something. Like if I'm like watching some anime and this guy has a weird foreign name that doesn't really make any sense, but I have to look up on Wikipedia or whatever, like at the Tojo Jitsu or whatever, the people that appear in the show. I have to go and see how it's exactly spelled just to figure out what it is. So those would be my concerns. I added this to cool moments. So this isn't even really related to Japanese, but I tried watching Kureon Shinchan in Korean for about 30 minutes. This is about a month and a half ago, I think. In Korean for about 30 minutes, and I actually learned a few words from context. This was really surprising to me because just because I remember when I first started learning Japanese and watching, like, I watched the first anime I watched was like a Yama no Susume. I watched both seasons of that. There's like a third season now too, I think. I don't know, but the only sentence in the entire thing that I actually understood was "Osaki ni dozo." Just because I saw it in Core 2K, like literally an hour before I started watching it. But it was really weird, like actually picking up words from this, because that didn't happen in Japanese at all. And I think it's just because Korean Japanese they're not the same. They sound similar. I don't know. It doesn't sound like complete gibberish. It's it's really weird to explain, but Chinese still sounds like gibberish. I can't. I tried it with Chinese too, and I couldn't figure out anything. Uh, anyways, Also, I'm not gonna go and learn Korean or Chinese now. I'm not doing that. But another cool moment. One second. Sorry about that. Another cool moment was like I watched this movie, Kimi no Suizo wa Tabetai, and it was really like the first time I watched the movie in Japanese and not really realized that it was in another language. I guess if you're familiar with language learning, you might know what that's like. It was really cool because like it's an hour, 30-minute long movie, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. Like I didn't even really think once the entire time that it was in Japanese. I was just watching it. It was actually really cool feeling. It's the first time it ever happened with a movie. It's happened with the anime before, but not with the movie. And this is an anime, so I don't know. But I thought it was kind of cool. And then I actually finished a novel, an entire novel. Go me. For the first time called Yokoso Wagayae. And it took about 3 days total. That was with a lot of rigs, so probably could have got it done faster. But I always start books and never actually finish them, so I was really happy about that. uh, but that's cool. That's a cool book. You should check it out if you want to get into novels. I wouldn't say it's really difficult. It has a lot of business language, but you just learn the words there, and then you can follow it pretty easily. I wouldn't know the English words for it. I don't think for a lot of the business terms in there. But yeah. Anyways, so this section changes in workflow, and so instead of talking about immersion environment, I'll just say what I changed. I have this auto hotkey script for quickly searching various websites. Pretty sure I stole the template of this code from somewhere, I don't know where, but I just kind of copied. I just made a bunch of shortcuts with my alt key and random letters, so I can look up on Yore, Forvo, Kanji, uh, online, Kanji Jiten, Google, Classic Jisho, the source section of Weblio, and AJATT. Uh, yeah, just kind of how it looks. If I want to know what pancreas is, I just Alt A shows up on Google really quick. Or if I wanted to look it up on Jisho, really, really fast. Probably one of the best things I ever introduced into my workflow. Another thing, I started using I don't even know how you pronounce this. Colibri. I started using this a lot more. So I can pick up squeeze up here too. Although organs and stuff don't really work that well on with the Japanese dictionaries, but there's this Y thing too. Yeah, I started using that more instead of Yomi-chan. Why? I don't know. I like how it has a lot more dictionaries, I guess. And then another change in workflow was that I started making my sentence cards directly instead of using Notepad++ for everything. Just because I have way, way, way too many sentences stocked up in here. I was too lazy to actually go and make cards for it, but if I directly make the cards, well then I'm not too lazy. So I keep them in this thing called Taiki. I don't know. But yeah, I just put the cards in here if I want to start learning them. I'm not gonna learn that word, but copy it. I keep it at 20. Then I put it in my tomorrow deck instead of Bunsho because I still need to do reviews on Bunsho. Yep, I just make my cards directly into there now instead of a text file. And I guess I could go through. go through some of the media that I watch. Toruto, I hate saying that. Dude from Kansai. Yeah, he doesn't really use Kansai even that much. Like usually when he's making a joke or something, then yeah, he'll use it. Usually talks normally. He's a nasally voice. He makes let's play videos. This is probably one of the main guys I watched. He's actually the guy who made this. Uh, he's really entertaining, and this series is actually this. It's just like a bunch of random stories from the 47 prefectures. And usually they have horror elements, sometimes not really. They're just interesting. Kyo, he's probably like one of the most popular game people who make videos of games in Japan. He's from Hokkaido. Uh, and he's part of a group called Saishu Heiki Oretachi. And he sometimes makes like live videos, like live action, I guess you could call it, with a camera. Makes videos with them and also with Toruto, Ushizawa, and Gachiman. Uh, it's entertaining, I guess. It's kind of weird to think about it though, because if these people spoke English, I probably would not be at all interested in them. I'm not really interested in this stuff in English. Even before I started learning Japanese, I didn't really watch this type of stuff. So it's kind of weird that that it's fun to watch in Japanese, but in English I'd be like, I don't want to watch this. K, this guy he makes his main. I don't know. He just plays random games, but his main games are I Want to Be the Guy fan games. If you know what those are, Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros. 4. Abu, he he mainly plays like RPG Maker stuff. He has a Minecraft series that I really liked. I don't remember. I watched that a couple months ago. I don't know. I'm not even really into Minecraft or anything like that, but it was fun to watch for some reason. Uh, Shoe games. This guy's really weird. His main games are Puzzles and Dragons, Mario Kart, and Wii Sports. You should check him out if you want. Junkman. I've watched this guy pretty much since I ever started uh, learning Japanese, just because Twitch streams were like the main thing I went to for passive listening. Like right when I started learning Japanese, would not recommend that for anyone, but I knew about him like pretty much since I started. Yeah, he has a really clear voice. It's the clearest mic I've ever heard in my life, actually, on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. And all of his live streams, or many of them, anyways, are active on Twitch or YouTube channel. Interesting guy. Uh, and then there's this news network. I think it's like Asahi, Asahi, right? TV Asahi. They have a this playlist that this is what I put on when I go to bed. I just set it on loop and watch it. Very nice YouTube channel. The only one I found that actually is good for the news in terms of videos, anyways. Uh, okay, I guess that's the media that I pretty much stuck with these past 6 months. Some Anki stats because people like these. I have 8,246 active sentences. 999 of these are from Tae Kim, and the other 7,247 are just sentence mining, random native media. It's kind of misleading because like there's probably 10 sentences in there from other grammar guides or like Google grammar guides like from a really long time ago. But whatever. And I guess I could show actual the actual stats. Also, I've never missed a day of this. Just I don't know if that's really important, but yeah, this is when I started sentence mining, April 12th. but da 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 89%. What would that be called? Recollection? I don't know. But yeah, I have 3 cards suspended just because I added them when I was too weak. Japanese, I could probably unsuspend them now, but I'm not going to. And this has 100, but I don't have them limited or anything like that. It just happens to be at 100. Sometimes it could go up to like 130, 134, whatever. Uh, that's my sentences. Then I also have this culture deck. This culture deck is a really weird thing. It's kind of just like a reminder deck, pretty much, because I don't really care about getting the right answer or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, that exists. If I see it again, then maybe I'll remember it. If I don't see it again, then maybe I won't. The main reason why this is probably so low is just because I don't remember where exactly the prefectures are. Here, let me see if I have a. Okay, yeah. Maybe it's Kusho. Okay, I didn't. Second. Okay, yeah, like I have these. So if I want to know where Osaka is, I think it's 27 here. Yeah. Just I usually get that number wrong, and it's usually by like one number too. Really annoying. That's why it's so low. But yeah, I stopped doing my kanji deck too. I had 2,000 right here. Let's see what the stats were in here. I'm actually not aware. 85%. I only had 14 young left. It was pretty much pointless to go through that anyways. Yeah, yep, those are my Anki stats. I don't really pay attention to them that much, but there they are. So this is my conclusion, I guess. The end of this video. This video got really long. Sorry about that. I wanted to keep it around 20 minutes. So 18 months, if you're aware, this is kind of like when Kat said he felt really fluent, and I think he went to Japan and even got a job there. He like passed a job interview and he got like an engineering job or something like that. Me, I cannot do that. My current Japanese skills will not allow me to do that. Maybe I could probably sit there, follow what people are doing, copy what people are saying, and get by. Maybe, but on my own, no, 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 no. I don't. I feel like I'm not fluent. Maybe I feel like by some standards of people, I'm fluent, but by my personal standards, I don't feel fluent. I, honestly, I might never reach that level because I feel like these standards go up higher and higher and higher. But I guess the most important thing is that the content of stuff is understandable, but details pass by. And this is really true when listening. When listening, it's really, really easy to just like let a number slip by, like a date. Like, they said a date, and you probably heard the month at least, so you're like, it's December. And then, like, you didn't, and like maybe you heard the part where they're like saying it's like like uh Juninichi or whatever, but you didn't hear the ni that really that well, so you knew it was like in the tens from day 10 to 19 of the month, but you didn't really hear the two. It's really small things like that. They still slip on by. Uh, it's I don't know, but like what's actually going on, everything I can follow that pretty well. That's assuming the topic isn't something like physics. Uh, and I guess the biggest thing that what probably led me to not feeling fluent at this point was that I don't do passive listening. Like when I'm reading, I stopped doing this around 9 months in, so this is literally like half of my learning Japanese, doing AJATT, whatever, like what had very little passive listening. Almost all of my listening has been active listening, or if like I'm away from my house, then I'll do passive listening. But just like going to the kitchen, making food, etc. I don't really put earbuds in. just I don't know. And like when I'm reading, I don't do passive listening because I can't focus on what I'm actually reading. It's really difficult. People who can do that are crazy. Like, yeah. Uh, and I never really, I don't know about never, but I don't really do aggressive active listening. That is, I don't listen for the sake of language. I almost always listen for the sake of content. And if a word comes up, then I'm like, oh, what's that mean? Then I look it up. And that probably happens a lot more than you think. But I'm not sitting there listening to every single syllable, pausing after every sentence, repeating the sentence. That would drive me nuts. But I should probably do it more. Probably help. Uh, but that said, my goal, the thing I want to do for these next 6 months is read more instead of listening. I got really interested in just Japanese novels in general. A lot more recently, I've been reading a book about dictionaries. Uh, Yesterday, I like started reading it. It's really interesting. But like just reading that has made me really interested in going and reading other Japanese novels and stuff. One second. Wish this cough will go away. Uh, yeah, probably gonna spend time more reading. I feel like around the 1 year mark, I probably could have gotten more into reading, but I was still really weak in listening, especially with YouTube videos. It's kind of weird thinking about how hard those videos used to be, and now they feel really, really easy. Uh, so yeah, probably switch to reading. That's my main active immersion. And this is just a random story. I'm done with the video now. But random story. Recently, I was somewhere where the movie Guardians of the Galaxy was playing on the TV, and I was paying attention to it for a bit, as if I was someone trying to learn English. So I was pretending I didn't really know English, and, like I was trying to sentence behind the movie, and the word spinal fluid came up, and it threw me off because I'm like, wait a minute, words like this show up in like kid movies, like, huh? Hmm? Would a kid really know what spinal fluid is? Maybe they could guess what it is, but you know, it just kind of made me realize the importance of still learning words like this. Well, I don't know about importance, but these words still show up in casual context, and like there's probably never going to be a point where I'm 100% understanding everything in Japanese just because of this. But yep, that's my 18th month progress video. To be entirely honest, when I first started, I thought I'd be fluent at this point. Just because I seen other people done AJATT at the 18th month mark, notably Katsumoto. Him being like super fluent at the 18th month mark or whatever, him saying so, anyways. I'm like, all right, then I can do that. And that didn't happen. I probably did less immersion, honestly. I don't know. I think it's the passive listening I probably should have focused more on, and the aggressive active listening. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just gonna keep on going. Maybe I'll be comfortable enough to call myself fluent at the 2 month mark, but 2 year mark. But who knows? If anyone has any questions, or if I left out something really big here, I don't think I did. You just have questions for what I do, or whatever. Go ahead, leave a comment. I'll try to answer. I don't really check this YouTube channel that much. I have another one, but uh, yep. Thanks for watching, I guess. Yep. Oh, okay, okay, bye.